Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. Yeah, I was pulling things off my shirt. Hello to Stephanie and Del Marie and Russ and Ingrid. Welcome. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Let me know if the sound is okay. When I first started, when I plugged everything in, got all the cameras set up, the sound was being funny, but it appears to be all right now. Hey, Jacqueline and Katie. Good morning. Oh, I am so tired, Stephanie. The show went really, really well. It was fun. Um, it was a good time. We had some new games that we had never done before in the 2 years that we've been doing shows. So that was a lot of fun to do things differently in front of a live audience. But yeah, it was fun. But I'm so tired. We got home late last night, and then after a show, I'm super jazzed, so I can't get right to bed. So I had a very late night, early morning this morning, and then up and ready to go for today for Iris, which I'm excited about. Hello, I love to sew, and Karen B. Excellent, thank you, Ingrid, for letting me know that. Hi, Nellie. So, to let everybody know, I'm going to be working on Legit Kit's second ever block of the month, which is Iris. I will show that is in this packet right here. And because it is month one for this new block of the month, my goal today is to kind of bring it all the way back to the beginning of if you have never if you didn't do Color Vortex, which was Legit Kit's first block of the month, if you have never opened a Legit Kit's kit of any kind before. So I haven't opened it. I haven't taken any of the papers or any of the things out. I'm gonna kind of roll it all the way back, just in case there are folks out there that are working Iris for the first time of any Legit Kit, or just Iris the first block of the month. They didn't get to do Color Vortex. So that's the goal for today. So I don't know how much sewing of actual completing of the blocks I'll get done today, but I thought it was a good place to reset and start talking about how I cut the fabric and how I work these block of the months, because I don't file them the same way. I don't kind of work them the same way as a regular full kit, like everything at you at one time. So yes, I know Iris is not everybody's cup of tea, so I know not everybody is going to be working on it with me today. It was definitely, well, that's kind of the fun thing about Legit Kits is they are wild, and they choose, like, their subjects are from just all over the place, and so some folks are going to love it, some folks are not going to like feel that particular one, and Iris was definitely like, you either loved it or you didn't, you weren't going to do it, but it still offers a really good like foundational jumping point for any Legit Kit you might end up doing. Hi, Tamla and Philippa and Melissa. Oh, selfie works. Oh, thank you, Russ. Oh, that's so exciting. Thank you so much for remembering that. Yes, because I'm super bad at remembering to put my friends' channels into Nightbot. I added the hashtag selfie, so if you ever want to self-promote, you can just hashtag selfie and it will put your YouTube channel link up there. Because I'm so bad at remembering. I didn't have Fallon's in it last week, which is insanity. So yeah, so that's a pretty cool way. So if you have a YouTube channel and you are interested in shouting yourself out, please go ahead and do that with hashtag selfie. There you can do hashtag commands, and it will show you all of the different commands that I have set up in Nightbot. But Oh, sure. Yes, I will show you how to do that. I Googled it. I was very proud of myself. But it was really hard to find in Google because you had to be very specific. So it took me a long time. So I will send you the just the line of script that you need to put in there. Yeah, super cool. Oh, Tamala, yes. How are you today? I saw, because of yesterday, I had a baby birthday party, which was really cute. She was very adorable, but one and had really no clue what was going on. Just a lot of people were there, and then went to my show. So I didn't get to do really anything yesterday sewing related at all. But last night, as I was drifting off to sleep in the middle of the night, I did get to watch Stephanie and Russ's live last night where they worked on the table runner. And Tamala, I did hear about losing your puppy dog, and I'm so sorry. That makes, oh, that hits me. So, oh, you missed your snuggle pup in bed. I'm so sorry. Mm. Oh, Donnell, not, did I say hashtag selfie? I'm so sorry if I said hashtag selfie, which is actually kind of funny. It's exclamation mark selfie. If I said hashtag, I apologize for that. For Nightbot, all of the things that Nightbot does is exclamation mark, whatever. Like, what comes next? Okay, so I'm going to switch camera views, and I'm going to start with Iris Block 1 basics. Like this is the first time you've ever opened a thing. But let me switch the camera. Yes, I think that's good. Let's make sure it pulls up okay. And all right. So, here we go. So this, again, Iris. Oh, here, I'll do it over this way so my little camera shot isn't in it. Iris, month 1, a legit kits design. As you're working on these, there are several hashtags that they'll put here to use. Feel free to pick and choose. You don't have to use all of them if you're posting any of them. But if you are like on Instagram and you also add hashtag Slay Iris, I'm looking at that. So if you're working on them and you want to show them off, and I would love to see them. If you add the hashtag Slay Iris, that would be very cool because I want to share in the excitement of that you're working along with me and working on this new block of the month. So this is the package. I'm going to open it up. So there will be some crinkly plastic. I apologize for that. I hold on to the plastic bag because as I'm working up the, you can see that the cats enjoy the plastic bag, chewing on the corners. As I'm working them up, block by block, I do put them back in the plastic bag until I put the months in quads. It's just easier for storage for me because they are kind of a temporary thing. I don't really set up. They are Color Vortex is in a file cube, file accordion, but it's not set up the same way. I just put it in by month in its plastic bag. So, what you will receive in your first month is 2 stickers. The bumper sticker, Legit Kit Quilter, and then your rounded square, Legit Kits sticker, which I have on everything. This is on a couple of water bottles. This is on a notebook. These Legit Quilters have gone on all of the accordion files that I use to manage all of my Legit kits. These are just fun to have everywhere. And then this is my favorite part of all, is in each kit, so the first month of the block of the month, but in every kit you'll receive a magnet. If you have not gotten the magnet, let them know. There's a huge assembly line process of putting them all together, but it's humans, so they might miss grabbing the magnet as a part of that whole thing, but let them know. They'll send it to you. Mine wasn't in sail away. Let them know I got my sail away magnet. So just give a heads up. Shoot them an email. Super easy. They are so wonderful with their customer service. So don't fret. But you deserve your magnet, and I want you to have it. It's so much fun. And because this is the first one, I'm going to add my iris magnet to my whiteboard back here that I'm never going to be able to use as an actual whiteboard because I have so many magnets. But oh well. So there we go. Iris is added, and I'll put the stickers to the side to figure out where those will go. Then I'm going to flip this over. You can see the fabrics. Look at these colors. Oh, so pretty. All these blues. I know a few of my very, very closest friends are very excited about blues. Stephanie of Stephanie Stitches and Ingrid loves well, no, not Donna. Donna, there we go. Ingrid is the purples. Ingrid and Patrice are the purples. Donna and Marianne are the blues. But these are still gorgeous. So pretty. So what I do when I first get all the paperwork is I take, this is the section worked up that it will end up looking like. So pretty. Just take a look at what you'll be doing. There are 2 blocks that are 2 pieces of large fabric, and then the other 2 blocks will have a little bit more work to be done within them. And this is the pattern side, so this is excuse me, where you'll be doing your sew lines. And then the finished quilt will be the mirrored side of that, because in FPP you're kind of working everything backwards. You're placing your fabrics and then sewing from the back side and flipping, and so it's a mirror image of everything. I want to make sure I haven't. Oh, Philippa, I'm so excited! Yeah. A lot of people have that same feeling about the eyeball. That it's freaking them out. Yeah, the colors are so pretty though. And then this will be the entirety of Iris from the pattern, and then what it will look like, the flip, the mirror of that, with the pupil on this side. When you actually hang it up. Your color guide, which gives you the Kona colors names and codes. The 2 letter codes are Legit Kit specific. It's specific to them. So if you need to call a shop and you're asking for a Kona solid because for whatever reason, if you miscut, don't worry about calling a shop. Call Legit Kits. They will get you more fabric to you. But say you want to like back this with one of these colors or a couple of these colors or whatever, or you want to add some borders and things like that, and you're looking for specific colors, the word, like for this one, sea mist, and that code 1852, that a quilt store word will know. If you call and say, hey, I want ye, I want ye, they're not going to know what you're talking about. So the name and the number, a store will know if you want to back or borders or what have you. If you miscut or something tragic happens to your fabric, excuse me, my voice is a lot of projecting last night at the show. Call Legit Kits, and they will get you hooked up with whatever fabric got messed up. So you don't have to have added cost there. Okay, so that's the color guide. This is by code listed, the sizes that you'll get. So some of the like shock value of Legit Kits is how expensive the kits are, and it's because they give you all of the fabric within it, and they do all of the labor of providing a fragment of a color that might only be used within the entirety of the quilt block one time, and a scrap, and a 5x9 scrap. So we know that the majority, unless you're super good friends with somebody who owns a shop and they'll cut whatever you want them to cut, most quilt shops won't cut less than 1/4 of a yard. Some don't even cut fat quarters. So that is where that cost lies, is that they're doing all that labor for you. They're getting you the specifics of what you need, and not having to go and buy yards of things that you may only use a smidgen of. And yeah, so that's a part of why the price is sometimes shocking. But I know folks who have gone and bought their own and have been like, oh dear Lord, it's even more expensive. Let's see. Oh, a violet iris would be very pretty. You received yours the other day. Haven't opened it yet. Okay, good. Oh, hi, Steven. Everybody say hey to Steven from Bland Designs and the Idiot Quilter. Glow in the dark green. That would be cool. Yeah, that would be nifty. Why equals high. All right. Okay, so now these are the assembly guides. Once you have finished, so not all blocks will have assembly guides, because not all blocks you're actually assembling. When I talked about at the beginning where there was a block that just had 2 pieces of fabric, you're not actually you're not putting together different units or sections of your block, so there's no assembly guide needed. There's one that has separate blocks. Nice. Oh, this is all on one page. Okay. So B1A is the only one that actually is cut into 2 sections. So that's the only one that you're going to need the assembly guide on, and it's 1 seam. So that's awesome too. So this is going to be a very nice beginner-friendly step into legit kits. Especially if you're just starting, I really recommend looking at these cut guides. These are not to size or to scale, but they will give you a good idea of the placement of when you're going to cut your fabric, and I'll start doing that in just a second. But so like for Glacier, this piece is only going to fit in this one direction. But with this scrap of fabric, number 1 piece, but I always cut largest to smallest for this very reason. I cut the largest out, and then there's all this fabric left over to fit this smaller piece in. If I had said, oh, I'm just going to cut this small piece out, and I put it in, maybe the smaller piece was a little bit bigger, and I didn't put it in the right spot, this larger piece that has to go horizontally across the whole piece of fabric, there might not have been enough fabric. Especially if you're just beginning, I would cut with these guides to show you. For me, I look through all of the cut guides all the time to look for these kind of gotchas, and I will start cutting and paying attention when I'm cutting that color, because I know this piece has to go first. Otherwise, I potentially could mess up and not have enough room for it if I were to miscut this and started, I don't know, just causing absolute havoc. So definitely take a look at your cut guides so that you're aware. Like this one, you've got plenty of space, but this is a nice right angle one, so you want to get this big one out of the way first. Oh, these are such pretty colors. But you'll see, like this one, it's the only one. I would still, even though it's the only piece to cut out of this fabric, I would still try to go as close to what they're saying as possible. I'm very frugal when I cut. I like to be all the way up to the edge as much as I can, so that if I do miscut later on, I can go, oh, well, I have this big piece, and I can actually, flip and still use this piece to cut a second piece, and that would be okay. my favorite ones are these right angle ones that you just fit right in the corners of your fabric and just cut down. It's my favorite. So it doesn't look like there are too many areas. There's a lot of space for these guys that are potential gotchas. These ones you want to make sure you're all the way into the corner. You want to be careful as you're cutting because there's not going to be fabric left over to recut if you have a miscut. Again, you can still call legit kits. But try to take a look at those cut guides. And then for the blocks of the month, I'm putting all of the paperwork back into the plastic bag and again storing all of the months together. Once I put the 4-month quadrants together, I am not obviously saving that in any one individual bag any longer. I will have it, well, I actually have it hanging up for Color Vortex, but I will then start combining all of the paperwork into a one, which will end up being like one packet of all the paperwork. So if I ever, maybe wanted to do it again, I'd be able to do that. So there we go. That's the paperwork. So if you haven't ever done a legit kit, that's kind of a crash course on the paperwork you'll expect to find and the goodies like the stickers and the magnet. Let's see. Yeah, the one of the companies out in Australia was at Quilt Market and talked to Mike Odell at Legit Kits and started like immediately right from there started supplying Australia with legit kits, the paper patterns only, no fabric kits, but the paper patterns at least. So Philippa and I are going to be able to do Little Hooter. Hi, Charlotte. Hey, Katie. Hey, Del Marie. So actually not with legit kits. So Del Marie asks, have you ever had not a large enough piece? So if something went wrong, you haven't had a large enough piece, and had to sew 2 pieces together to get the required one. Nope, I take that back. It was with a legit kit, actually. It was with the mini rose. Way back when. That feels like years ago, and it was really just earlier this year. So I have had to piece them together. Now, sometimes because you're piecing pieces and the legit rose has many sections, it doesn't, depending on where it is, it doesn't even look weird because there are a lot of seams within the different segments. So I did it. I don't even remember where it is anymore because the papers are all off, and so it just looks like pieced fabric. So it does lend itself really well to that if it's not in a spot that that you think that you'll notice forever. I could not tell you where that is now in the mini rose. With all the papers gone, I can't tell that one thing was supposed to be a solid and one thing wasn't. There are so many points within the individual sections that you're building a block into a full block where the same color fabric will come together to meet. And so there's a seam in the same colors in several places within a top. So there, you definitely can do that and get away with it. And again, like I said, I couldn't even tell you where it is anymore. I don't know. I don't even know where it's at. Yes, Little Hooter will be so fun. Oh, that would be good. Yeah, Stephanie, that would be fun. Oh, the Ursa Minor. Were you trying to download a digital pattern, Kelly? Because digital patterns aren't available any longer. But the kit should still be there, and the paper pattern should still be there. For sure. That should still be there. After this, I'll look into it and let you know. But yeah, it should still be there. Okay, so let's take a look. So, what I would start off with is A1. It's 2 pieces of fabric on 1 piece of paper. So nice and easy. It is you are sewing 1 seam. If it is a large piece of fabric for both sides, if you wanted to, there's a couple of ways that you could stabilize your fabric. So this is fabric 1. You would want to stabilize fabric 1. You wouldn't want to try to do anything to fabric 2 just yet. To fabric 1, you could use I always say it's the wrong person. I think I say it's Lori Holt, and it's not Lori Holt. Who is it that has the sew line glue stick? I think I have it right here. Sew line. Yeah, I can't remember who does it. But you can use a glue stick and just put just a little bit on, I would say in the seams, the seam allowance, to hold the fabric in place, and maybe a little bit right here where you'll end up sewing in the line to help stabilize it, because it is a lot of fabric and it will be floppy. And it does have the potential of catching on your feed dogs and flipping over, or shifting just a little bit as you're starting to sew, and it might go a little bit askew, and then what was covering up here in the corner is now, off to the side by the time you get there to sew it. So stabilizing it can be such a anxiety reducer for you, especially as you're starting out. You can, especially for these larger pieces with how big they are, they're right up to the edges. You could just use your clips. You could use your Wonder Clips, or the brand that you prefer, but I think the generic term for them now is basically Wonder Clips. You could use those to hold the first piece of fabric on the sides, and then sew it to secure it. You could use my arch nemesis, the pin. I don't know if you'll be able to see my little pin right there. You can see the green head. And again, through the seam allowance and the extra space of the seam allowance, pin to hold it there, and then maybe right here in the center, so that when you're ready to sew, this is stabilized here as well. So a couple of different ways to hold your fabric in place, so that when you're then flipping it over to put your second piece on, your first piece is stable and you don't have to worry about it going all over the place. Oh my. Okay, and then, so what we'll also do is, because these are 2 big pieces, once I've finished putting them together, when I'm going to get ready to put this block A1 onto block A2, you might want to stabilize these, probably then with just pins. You could do you do the glue, the Wonder Clips will work too, as you put them together to stabilize both of those pieces of fabric together, so they don't shift. Well, it would be this way, so you can actually see the sew line. So they don't shift as you're sewing the 1/4 inch seam allowance. And then that will stabilize them. And then when you open them up, and you can take all of that off, then this whole thing will be much more stable for the next month's blocks to go together. So that's a good way. So these first 2 are just 2 pieces of fabric, and I'll show you how I cut those. B1 is the one piece of the puzzle for this month one that you will cut 2 sections to build the block, and that's the only one that you have to do that this month. So you can use paper scissors, you could use a rotary cutter, I've used pinking shears because they were what I had on hand. I do have a dedicated legit kits, well, FPP pair of scissors that I cut everything with. The fabric, the paper, all the things, I don't care. This is the pair of scissors that does all the things. You can do that, but this is the only block that you're going to have to cut up, and I'll show that too. And then block B2 is 5 pieces of fabric on one 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that you'll then trim down to 7.5 by 10. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, so this is the only one that you'll have to build the sections to build your finished block. The other ones are straight sewing on the foundation of the paper, and that is it. So now I'll start showing how I cut the fabric, but I want to make sure. Oh, bye, Philippa. Sleep well. All right, so I'm going to show how I do fabric cutting. Move that there. What I'll do first is crease the seams. With the legit kit papers, these are thin enough that just using what is this? July's Cotton Cuts Block of the Month card. That works just fine. If you have FPP patterns that you've printed out on your own copy paper, you may want to use the back of your snips to run down the line a little bit gently. Don't go all the way through the paper, but enough to distress the paper enough that it will fold easily, and then at the end it will rip easily. Distressing the paper, folding the paper a little bit like this, and then using a shorter stitch length helps when it comes to removing the papers. I know there are notions out there that will wet the paper to remove them easily. I have not gotten the one that's specifically for that, but had a water pen, and it was just way too much water, way too much wetness. It made too much of a mess. So I haven't used the one that has been created specifically for it to see if it's just kind of a dampening rather than like a waterfall. So I'm not sure, but that you may want to see about that too. But I've found the short stitch length. I stitch with like a 1.1. The recommended is 1.3 to 1.7 stitch length, which is how short the needle moves to put the next stitch in. So when you're saying stitch length, that's what they're talking about. How far your needle moves when it lifts up, and the feed dogs, how far they pull the fabric in for the needle to go back down again. The needle doesn't move. The feed dogs do all the moving, but it's how far the needle travels with the feed dogs pulling the fabric through. And, okay. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and fold all of the papers just to get that out of the way, because it's nice to come back if I have to get up and go do something else, like let the dogs out or something. It's nice to come back and all of this kind of housekeeping stuff is already done when I'm ready to get to sewing again. Oh, I'm just gonna fold while I don't have it cut out. That's fine. That's not going to hurt anything. It's a time saver to just go ahead and do it. Not everybody even, like, especially with this small little corner, not everybody even cuts it off. Because you'll end up trimming it at the end anyway. And efficiency, speed-wise, if you don't want to cut it out, don't cut it out. It's not going to hurt anything. It doesn't have a sew line on it, so you can just ignore that piece of paper. I saw at the beginning, Russ had said it's gorgeous down there in Atlanta, Georgia. And it's beautiful here in Frederick, too. There's not a cloud in the sky. It's gorgeous. How is the weather for everyone else? Oh, Landa, hold on a second. This heart is blocking some of your questions. So hold on. Could you use the same used for the pressing solution? Could I use the same pen to wet the paper to remove it at the end? I guess you could. I've never. Well, I guess it wouldn't leave any residue or anything, but I don't know that I would want to use it because I wouldn't I would be that means I would be using that solution and not for like the ironing, not for the flattening. So I don't know if I would feel like I was wasting it to use it to pull the papers off, if that's what you meant. Now, if you got that pen but didn't fill it with a solution, like you got it wasn't filled, or you have an extra one and you just fill it with water, I bet you that would work. That would be a good idea. I don't have one that's not full of solution, but that I would like to try that out, actually. Landa, I'll have to, maybe when this one empties, I'll pull the one out of my go bag to use, and then I'll fill this one a new nib and just water. That would be fun. I bet you that would work well, because it doesn't, you're able to really control the amount of liquid that comes out of that pen, so that's pretty cool. Chilly in Ohio, but nice and sunny. Yes. It was a bit warm yesterday. It got warm in the house. Okay, so warm to me. I'm always hot. If it's not 32 degrees, it's not cold enough. In the winter, I still sleep with my fan on in my bedroom, so I like it chilly. Yeah. Hi, Carrie. How are you doing? Well, I'm excited about the new use the pen, because I certainly have enough of those. All right, so for A1, I'm going to go ahead and cut these two fabrics, so S, G, and Y. When you get the fabric from, this is a good thing to talk about too, when you get the fabric from Legit Kits, it will be in alphabetical order by the size of the fabric. So this little 4.5 by 5.5 fragment, if there was more than just the one, this really pretty, and I never pronounce this word right, so I'm not going to do it because I don't want to look like a goofball. If there were more of these would be stacked in alphabetical order. So the size is alphabetical. Oh my lord, alphabetized. I just created a new word. Is alphabetized. So like these 5.5 by 9 scraps, Glacier, Spruce, Windsor, alphabetized. Then the fat 16ths, Oh, there's just jade in that. When I am working with the full kits, the large kits of any kind, like the Blue Jay, BJ the Blue Jay, or the Sail Away, or working with Little Hooter in January with Stephanie and Philippa, I will then alphabetize all of the fabrics within my accordion filing system in alphabetical order, all of the sizes in the same, so A through AZ will all be together regardless of the size of the fabric. So, but for these month ones, I just kind of keep them stacked this way. I don't really alphabetize them any other way because it's a much smaller bite-sized chunk, basically. Hi, Christine. Ooh, sunny and 80 in South Florida. Oh, well, that I'm happy that it's sunny and a beautiful 80 degrees after severe flooding. That's a bummer. Bye, Kelly. Thanks for stopping by this morning. Okay, so because I'm going to keep them in the order that they came in, I will have to do a little bit of searching, but it's 4 blocks, so I don't feel like that's not that painful. So this is SG, and then Y for Sea Mist, which is so pretty. And these two are, here, let's go over here, are not that different in color. I don't know if in the camera you can really tell that much of a difference, but Sea Glass and Sea Mist are very close in color. So this is going to be an important lesson in, if you're just starting, once you've cut, you may want to even label your pieces so that you know which color is what. I have worked up a system for myself where I know that when I cut, I always cut from the first piece of fabric through the last piece of fabric. There's only 2 here, but I cut from the first to the last. So I will cut Sea Glass first and put that down. Then I'll cut Sea Mist second and then put that down. And then I will pick up both of those pieces of fabric, flip them over so the top fabric that is pinned to my block will always be the first piece. So then I know everything is in order after that. So it doesn't matter what the colors are because they're in order, and I know I'm sewing from 1 through 2, 1 through 8, 1 through 12, 13. Some of the pieces can get rather large in the number of fabric pieces in them. Not here with the legit iris. You will be fine. They will not go as high as 13 or 14. But so I always know that I have my fabric from 1 to the last up top. But should something happen, if you have a sticker, labels or whatever, and you want to write down SG on this piece when you cut it, and then YE on the second piece, then you always know which one goes where. And especially in the beginning, especially with these super close colors, it's a really good way to make sure that you don't mix things up. So it adds time, it adds a little bit of expense because you're using labels, but if you have them handy and you're like not using them for anything else, that, then that's a freebie. That's cool. But the added time that it adds to write those out and put them on the fabric is also a time saver should you walk away and the cats come along and knock all your fabric on the ground. So it's kind of give and take, and what's going to save you frustration later is worth doing now. So the extra steps to do that now is worth the frustration you may feel in a couple of days when you come back to it and you're like, which one was this? So There you go. Ooh, 34 degrees. That's nice and cool. Oh, Ingrid, yeah. Philippa had to order fabric, and she ended up ordering from Fat Quarter Shop because they end up being really cost effective in shipping to Australia, more than many shops here in the States, and more than many shops there in Australia. And so she's changing up some of the, she's minimizing some of the color. What is the gradients, I guess. So I don't think that she ended up getting all, however many colors it is. So you may want to ask her about that. I'm not sure all of the changes that she made. Okay, so let me go ahead and start here. So again, I love, oh, also, if you are a very good and proper sewist, you will iron and probably either use actual starch or a starch alternative like Easy Press or Flatter or Acorn's starch alternative to iron this out, make it more stable, and all that kind of stuff. I am not a prim and proper sewist, and I am usually looking to get her done and get her done quick. So I will not be ironing. I know, clutch your pearls. I will not be using any starching or any of that kind of stuff. I will just be going right from the packet to getting it prepared and moving forward. So that is my style for sure. So I apologize if this might make you cringe, but it's what I do. Okay, so SG, again, these nice right corner pieces, love them so very much. I'm going to set up, there is a selvage down here at the bottom, so I'm going to make sure that that is in my seam allowance, the extra seam allowance. The dark gray here is the seam allowance. This extra white, or I don't know, whatever color newsprint is like the added. Oh, my voice is really hurting. My throat. It's the added, just from the size of the paper. So I'll make sure the seam allowance is in that section. But lined up really right up to it. And then I will fold this down. Now, when I'm in production mode, when I've got to get something done, what I will do is just cut it and not use a not use a ruler, not be concerned about that at all. What I'm going to do today, though, is show what I will do when it's just me chilling and wanting to make things as close to perfect as possible. I will cut at a 1/2 inch to make sure that I have wiggle room. So I'll line that up right on that fold line so that I have the 1/4 inch seam allowance and then some grace. Then I will use my rotary cutter. And because this ruler doesn't go all the way to the end of the, oh, you might not be able to see that. Well, you can see it on this side. It doesn't go all the way to the end of the fabric. I'm going to start in the middle and roll backwards. And just be careful. I mean, it's probably not going to be exactly a 1/2 inch like where the ruler is, but it's at the end. It's not, not as, because I'm doing a healthy 1/2 inch, it's not going to be, if I come in a little bit, or if I go a little bit heavier, it's not going to hurt anything. There we go. Just right to the end. And then, there we go. First piece of fabric cut. Our sea glass for 1A is cut. And then I will put this back with the rest of the fabric. And again, so this was the first piece I cut. I will lay that down and have it ready to pin to the block after I cut my second piece, which is Sea Mist, which I think is a little bit greener than Sea Glass. Picked up some friends from some other projects. That was the red and the green from the 4S collaboration blocks. Hey, Darlene! Collect your pearls. Oh, painter's tape for the labels. Oh, that's good. I like that too. That's severely cost effective. That makes so much sense. Oh, Drum the Cat. Oh, Ingrid did a color switch with the retriever. Oh yeah. Oh, she just talked about it there. Yeah. So, Russ, you could definitely. Ingrid's got some insight on color switching, and then making it smaller. You just have to scan it in and then shrink it a little bit. All right. So same process with the Sea Mist. And I'm lining up my right angle with the right angle of the fabric. I have the seam allowances down here on this end that you can't see right now, but I'm making sure that it's in the extra seam allowance, not in the body of the fabric that will be seen. I'm gonna swing this back up. I'm actually gonna switch this around because I am ambidextrous with cutting with my rotary cutters, but I can't get it all in camera that way. So I'm going to switch it this way and make sure I line it up better so that you can see what I'm doing. Make sure we're here and here. Alright, yeah, this is a little bit better. You can see more of what I'm going to end up cutting. So again, I will line my 1/2 inch up on the fold line. The fold line right now we're using as the fold line for cutting the fabric. That's actually the sew line when we're putting these pieces together. So I'm making sure I have at least the 1/4 inch of a seam allowance past my sew line, and a little bit of grace with doing it at 1/2 inch. All the way through. I'm starting in the middle again because this isn't going all the way to the end. And I want to make sure that, there we go, that I'm starting in the stable area of where the ruler is on, and then rolling off into the section that the ruler wasn't helping hold down. So, there's that piece. So that is the second piece of Yi. And so I'll put that on top of piece 1. Then I will flip it over so piece 1 is on top, piece 2 is on the bottom, and that's where I will pin to be worked when I'm ready. When I'm just doing the pieces for myself, I will cut and sew. I'm cutting and sewing as I go. If I am going into like real production mode and trying to like get through things, I will cut everything, pin them all together, and then sew, trim, kind of make it like a warehouse, like an assembly line of getting through all of the pieces. Ooh, the Allen Bright colors. Oh, Christine, I love Starry Nights. Oh, yeah. Starry Nights is gorgeous. And I love all the talk of the dedication quilts. I think that is so amazing. Oh, I could do one of the cats in an orange tabby. That would be fun. Alright. Next up, A2. We have Yi again and V. So let me find V, which I think is cornflower. Yes, it is. So we'll bring cornflower over to cut. Cornflower right there. And we'll work with Yi. Okay. So, with Yi, for this next one, you can, again, right quarters. Oh, you know what? I'm going to pull out the paperwork to show you what Yi's looking like. Sorry, I get used to just running, and I don't really look back at the cut guides. But let's do that together. Hello, where's Yi? Here we go. So, Yi is 2 pieces of fabric. I mean, 2 pieces of pattern pieces for this one piece of fabric. Because I have the first one cut here, the way they have it laid out is I would then, let's try to make it look like what they had. Okay, so they have it like this. This was the first piece cut off, and then the second piece would go down here, which totally works. Because I know that this is the second piece, if I was trying to, or if I don't know, just was like, okay, I know this is only the second piece, I can do whatever I want, I could line it up instead of this way, I could do it this way, I could do it this way, and because you know that this is the second piece, and you're not going to have, this is not going to be enough to cut a solid piece out again. It's really now up to you how you want to cut this piece out. Yeah, it is a lot of this iris is a lot of blues and teals and some greenies. The spruce green especially. So I'm going to take the label out of the way, put that right on the machine. Just because I'm already like this, I'm going to go ahead and cut it this way and move it so that you can see the cutting. Fold this back. Again, 1/2 inch on my fold line, which is my sew line when I'm working the fabrics together. And because this is the end of the block, okay, you can see that? Yeah. I'm just going to go straight up. I don't know. I'm not worried about my ruler being there. I'm just going to go whoop. There we go. So that is it. Yi has done its job for Iris Block of the Month, month 1. So I'm just going to fold it so it stays somewhat together. Put my sticker back on it. There we go. And then I will put this back in the plastic bag with all of the paperwork that I have right now. And so Y was piece 1. So I'm going to lay that down up here. Bring V, which is corn flour, down. Open it up to use my right corners again. I have the selvage down here. I'm going to spin it so I can cut it where you all can see. So I'm going to line up the extra bit of seam allowance into the selvage, making sure none of the selvage ends up in the body of the fabric. Fold over on our sew line. Line up at 1/2 inch. And go. There we go. Put V back over here. And same, it becomes muscle memory because you're doing the same thing over and over again. So now piece 2 will go on the top of piece 1. So corn flour is piece 2, sea mist is piece 1. I will have piece 1 laying on top so that I will sew in the order that I come to, and I will pin this right to the paper. And I know every time I come to a pinned grouping of fabric on top of the paper that it is in sew order. 1 through whatever that last number may be. There we go. Then go on to I think I'm going to do B2 first because that is another full page one, and then we'll work on B1A because that's in 2 sections. But we've got plenty of time to do that, so that's what I will do. So for B2, we are not using any of the colors we've used for the A row. I'm going to pull this whole stack back over because I'm not worried about the colors that I'd used in A's. And we'll take a look. So piece 1 is KY, which is Prairie Sky. Excellent. Piece 1. Piece 2 is JG, which is Jade Green, which I think is such a gorgeous color. I hope that's coming through. I have natural light coming in too, and I think it might be making it a little more blue than it really is. But then Glacier is 3, Spruce is 4, Windsor is 5. Alright, so that means this little bitty scrap is for B1. So I will just put it on top of B1. And we will work. So now I have the fabrics in order that I need to cut them, because I went from 1 to 5. So they're actually in the order I need to cut them now, too, which makes it nice and easy. Oh, some stretchies. Oh yeah, Kona sheen in the eye would be so pretty. Oh my gosh, yeah. Nightbot is saying it's time to stretch. I should have filled my water bottle. I could use some water. Alright, Linda, thanks for coming today. Thanks for reminding me. Yes. Oh. Ooh, good stretches. Get the shoulders rolling. Woo. Oh man. Do you remember when I first got the first one? I was just doing it from the big binder, and because I moved so much from either down here sewing or upstairs sewing, I was so frustrated with the binder because the binder system was fine, but the pieces, the page protectors would slip out and then the fabric would fall out, and it was like, because I was moving around so much. So my accordion files has really like come in handy. That's been my go-to now. Okay, so first piece, K1. And I know for folks that have been doing FPP for a while, this is really repetitive and common knowledge. But with this being the first month of the Iris block of the month, and that there are plenty of folks out there who jumped into this pattern because it is a block of the month and it's in smaller chunks, some might not have any idea of where to start. So this month one, I'm taking the opportunity to really roll it back, really talked about the organization of the paperwork, everything that you'll get in your kit, taking the time to talk about, preparing your papers with the folds. So for folks that this is like kind of old news, I appreciate you hanging out and spending time with us, and answering any questions that might come into the chat. But if you are working on your own Iris, definitely let me know in the chat. If you're working on another project, let me know what project you're working on today. Love to know what you're up to. All right. Let me go ahead and set. I keep reminding myself to think of KY as Kentucky and not anything else, because I have the sense of humor of a 12-year-old boy. And so it's Kentucky. Dang it. Jackie, yes. In January, I'm gonna be doing Little Hooter, and I think this may be part of my favorite things about quilting. What started out as Philippa, who is on, had been on this morning, and you'll see her in like Steven's pop-up sew days and things like that. What had started out as a conversation with her and I, like, oh look, you're able to get the paper patterns in Australia now. Oh, you want to do Little Hooter? I have Little Hooter. Oh, let's do Little Hooter together. Then we started talking about it, and now Stephanie is going to join us. We're trying to talk Ingrid into doing it, and Ingrid wants to change up the colors within the pattern itself. So get just the paper pattern and then change the colors fully, or get the full kit and just pull out the ones that you want to change the color on. So yeah. I just love that it, like, there's just so much room for everybody to do this together, and I love that it grows. Like, the second you say, oh, I was thinking of doing this, and then someone's like, oh, that would be great, let's do it together, and then it's like, oh, let's have them join too. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. So I'm very much looking to doing Little Hooter. So Jackie, if you're gonna do Little Hooter too, please join us. Kentucky, yeah. Yep, see? Mm-hmm. Russ knows what I'm talking about. There we go. There we go. Kentucky is done. Kentucky is in the block B1. I would think, obviously, with as big a piece as this is, that it wouldn't have just been that one cut. So it is also in B1. So I will set it aside over here to be cut with that as well. And again, it's the same routine. I cut, I lay the first one down, ready for the second piece to go on top, and ready to be positioned for sewing. So jade green, this one, I don't know. Oh, these are all, see, as we're getting into the greens, I get very happy because green's my favorite. But look at that. I love these shades of green. This is going to be fun. But jade green is the next piece. And while jade green isn't at the end of the paper, it's really close to a right angle. So I'm going to fold this piece up and line this up where, so there's the selvage down here. So I want to make sure that I'm not, because this is within the body of the whole block itself, I really want to make sure that I'm staying away from the selvage in a very good way. And let's see where else jade is used over here. I think jade was the one that was the really small, yeah, really small section. So we're going to be good to cut it this way. So we're good there. And we're good here. And I am going to pick the whole thing up and turn it so that I can cut it so you can see. So this is where the seam allowance is for going from 2 to 3, from piece 2 to piece 3. This is the seam allowance that we're allowing, and this is the selvage. So that's why this is more like 1.25 inches than it is a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch. But then I'm just going to go ahead, line up on the fold line, cut my 1/2 inch. And I'm not worried about the fact that there's this extra on the end there. Oh good, it'll be trimmed up. There we are. And the rest of the jade green goes over for B2, because that's going to be a little bit of the section. Piece 2 goes on to top of piece 1. You're going to get very bored of hearing me say that. All right, glacier. There's glacier over here too. Just a little corner. So I'm going to move this further over this way to give me space to cut. So again, this is a pretty straight edge. I'm going to line it up along the edge of glacier. So I have a little bit more than a 1/4 inch. Fold the paper, fold this part back, turn everything so I can show you cutting it. There we go. Then glacier over to B2. This, it looks like a Dresden plate. This Dresden of glacier is piece 3, so it's going to go on top of piece 2 in the to be sewn pile. And spruce. Spruce is getting very close to the dark green of British racing green that I love. And then, let's see, this again, how big is the piece of spruce SU that we're going to need for over here? Oh, no, this is the only piece of for spruce. So, again, because I like to be frugal, I'm going to pull the label off just to make sure I don't cut it. I am going to line up this straighter edge along the edge of the fabric. Go like that. Put this up. Move everything so I can show the cutting. And there we go. Lining up the 1/2 inch on the fold to sew line. Going a little bit past because this is the straight, I want to make sure that I had enough. And I'm just going to pull into that cut. There we go. And I'll add the spruce sticker back on it so I don't forget who this is. And that's it for spruce. Spruce did its job. No more for spruce. So I'll throw that there. Piece 4 on top of piece 3. And then our last cut for B2 is this Windsor blue, which is really a pretty blue. I like a blue-gray, and so this is really pretty. I like this a lot. Turn this like this. Wait. How will it be? Yeah, this is good. So, it's too much into the seam allowance to do it this way, even though me trying to be frugal would really be happy if it lined up really good that way, but that's too much. It's too close. I don't want to risk having the seam allowance into the body of it. So I'm going to flip this over and line up the right corner. And because it's solid, it doesn't, no right side, wrong side. We're all good. And then cut Windsor. Here we go. Hi, Julie. Welcome from Wisconsin. Or welcome to Wisconsin. Oh, yeah. Oh, well. Oh, Jackie, it would be fun for you to get back to quilting Little Hooter. You'll have a group of friends to cheer you on. And as I liked to have available, friends to kick me in the butt to get me to do what I need to do. Alright, so that is piece 5 of Windsor. Goes on to piece 4, so we know where we're all at. It does make the sewing so much more. Oh, Jackie, I was talking about that earlier. That really, really good, proper sewists who watch their P's and Q's you will have enough fabric to use starch alternatives or starch, whatever your heart desires. When I am feeling very prim and proper, I will use, usually I will use the Acorn or the Precision starch in the spray bottle thing. I think that is the coolest thing in the world. That makes me use it more often because it's fun to use. But that is in my go bag for retreats when I'm using large pieces of fabric. So, a long story short, sorry about that, is no, I never end up using it when I'm working in the legit kits. I'm very bad about using any kind of starch for any project. I'm so bad. I use the Precision pen for the seams, for everything, FPP, traditional piecing, all the things. But I'm so bad at using any kind of starch alternative for anything else. I'm also wicked bad at ironing. I will literally take the time to iron the section I need to cut before I would take the time to iron an entire piece of fabric. The only time you will catch me ironing entire pieces of fabric is at retreats where everybody else is doing it too, and then I feel the peer pressure. But if I have to, I will iron out, a size of, a 14 by 14 inch size spot to cut what I need to cut. I am very bad at being good. Hi, Kate. Candace. Welcome. Where are you hailing from? All right. So these are our colors back again from block 2 to be used for block 1 of the B row. And these are the A row colors that we won't need to pull back into play. I am going to head and go, okay, everybody remember, these are the scissors that are, they're scissors, not shears, and they are dedicated, their life's purpose is to cut paper and fabric for FPP, where I'm not, you know, extremely worried about jagged edges on the fabric or anything like that, because it'll be trimmed up as I go through the project. So you're going to see them cut paper, and you may see them cut fabric too. Don't be scared. Oh, from Georgia. Got a couple of Georgias. Hi, Lori. From Florida. Yes, the Iris BOM. Today, it's the first month. There's still time to order. I pinned the information about ordering the Iris if you haven't done so already. There's still time through the 26th to sign up, and if you use the discount code SLAYARTS, you'll get 10% off your first month, which is always nice incentive. But yep, this is month 1, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to the colors and being able to do this on lives like the color Vortex. Now, when I'm cutting the sections of pieces, I continue on with how it is on a full piece of paper. I'll keep that extra space past the seam allowance. Just an extra layer of security, because if I know that my fabric piece is going into that extra piece of the seam allowance, then I'm definitely covered for what the section needs to be complete. And then, now, like I said, you can, in the, you know, interest of saving time, you can ignore cutting this piece out. If it gets on your nerves of seeing it, that it is not actually a workable piece of the paper, and it just frustrates you to see it there, which I think it would do me, you can go ahead and cut it off. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. But if you just want to get down to it, feel free to leave that. It's not going to hurt anything. It's just, you know, it's printed out on the full sheet of paper, and this is where the section that's going to be sewn together would have been. There we go. So let's go. So let's see. I'm gonna do the littler piece first, because sometimes the little pieces of fabric scare people, and I wanna talk about when you're looking at these smaller pieces of fabric. They are small here in the section of the, you know, 5, 4, 3, 2, even 1 is, you know, relatively small compared to 1 of this section A. But you don't have to start off with your fabric cut this small. So let's say, okay, I'm going to go a little bit out of order. I'm going to go with 5, which is Kentucky. I've got a whole hankering piece of Kentucky. If you have been frugal, well, if you've been good about cutting your pieces, and you're here at the end where you've cut all your big pieces first, and now you have these little pieces, you do not have to cut your piece of fabric into this exact shape, into this small a shape. If you fit this piece of blue onto your piece of fabric, and you see that it fits in this area here, you can rough cut, like this is seam allowance, this will get trimmed off at the end, this all fits here. Alright, so I know that I need to go past that point. I'm just going to cut this big piece of fabric like that, so that then I'm comfortable with, I have this big old piece of fabric to cover this tiny piece in the section. That's definitely plenty of fabric. I would rather waste, I say with quotes, because if it's giving you comfort and it's making you feel confident and comfortable in what you're doing, I don't think tossing a couple of, maybe half an inch of fabric, I don't think that is a waste to have you not have to recut, have you not have to resew, have you not be freaking out, have you not do it at all, which is what a lot of people get scared about when they're working on these smaller sections, is they just don't do it. What you'll be doing is trimming this piece of fabric down to the size it needs to be as you're adding on your fourth piece, your third piece. Well, so this is the last piece, but you know what I mean. So say this was piece one. As you're adding your next pieces on, and as you trim down to sew, so you're going to have this 1/4 inch. So you are sculpting this piece of fabric into the shape it needs to be. It doesn't have to start off in that shape. You don't have to cut your fabric in exactly that shape from the start. You just start whittling pieces of that fabric away so that in the end it makes the shape that the paper says it should be. But I don't want you to get scared of having to cut like perfectly this little weird angled triangle and then put it away because you're too scared that you're going to mess it up. Cut a healthy piece of fabric out and, yeah, like wood, whittle away the wood, or like stone, you know, chip away at the stone as you're adding the other pieces, and then your final shape will be what it's supposed to be. So, that's my soapbox moment for the for the day. I don't want you to be scared of it and not do it. I want you to feel confident and totally rock these little bitty pieces. Oh, Candace! Oh my gosh. I think that you need to sign up for 2024. I'm going to be coming in 2024. A friend of ours, Philippa, is going to be coming in 2024. So definitely keep it on your calendar for the next year in Georgia, because it's going to be a good time. Not that this year isn't going to be a good time, but you're not going to be there. I'm not going to be there. Philippa's not going to be there. So next year we can add to the fun. Jackie says, usually starch everything for quilting. I find to get better cuts with the fabric. Yes. Yes, I will say that is true. They definitely, you also get less fraying when you starch. I am on board with people starching. I just know that I personally suck at it. I just don't do it regularly. Okay, so because I did that a little bit backwards to show about, you know, just making sure you have enough. This is 5. I need to remember that because I did something backwards in my own process. So I'm going to need to remember that piece is 5. Or I'll end up with that piece on top and be very confused as why it doesn't fit what the one piece says it should fit. So Kentucky. Right. So now I am gonna start off the right order. So 1, 2, 3, 4, We'll just put 5 back here so I know where it's at. Oh, that works. All right. So 1, this is the only time that this is used, so you don't have to be quite so concerned unless you want to make sure you have enough leftover fabric if you make a mistake. Wait, Shannon's going to be at the 2024 Georgia retreat? Yes, because Philippa's going to be there, and I didn't get to meet Philippa. And yes, Russ, you have to. I just assumed you'd be coming back again because you were at 2023. So yeah, face-to-face meeting. Although we'll get to see each other in February too. Oh my gosh, Lori! Oh, thank you so much. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, that's the first thing, the little, the tip thing that I've ever gotten before, Lori. Thank you so much. You don't have to do that. That was very exciting. Oh. I'm still going to, for Black Friday, I'm going to videotape, have a separate videotape, you know, a YouTube video of how to do the fabric cutting, so that it's standalone and people can find it, not in the muddying of the, like, the Sunday Lives and stuff, because it can get hard to search for those kinds of things, so. Sign up usually, well, Stephanie's right here, so she will definitely be able to, yeah, give you the time frame. It's usually a couple of weeks, a few weeks after the retreat ends. Move this down a little bit. I'm going to pull a smaller ruler because I definitely don't need this big 12-inch ruler taking up so much space. It's just going to make my head hurt. So, but still the same. I'm lining up the 1/2 inch. You're awesome, Lori. Thank you. Oh, Candace, you're going to be at QuiltCon too? I am so excited about that. I can't just, I'm just excited about the whole experience. The show part, I want to see all the amazing quilts that everybody works on. The vendor floor part, because as we all know, I'm a crazy gadget gal. So I'm very excited about the floor. But the idea of being able to meet face to face the folks that are becoming a part of the quilt family here is so exciting. There we are. So this little bit, at some point in some legit kit, I will be able to use this little tiny bit. So I'm going to peel back the label, put this underneath, and keep these two pieces together for the future. This will go in my file, like my drawer of all of the colors. So I will definitely be using that. All right, so there's one. Kentucky will be used for this guy up here, so I'm just going to put him up there too. Windsor is 2. Let me check the time. Oh, we're doing good on time. Okay, I'll be able to get it all cut. Yeah, Georgia in 2024. We're filling up your spots, Stephanie. We're getting you set for 2024. All right. So I have seam allowance. I don't know if you can see it with the dark on dark. I have the seam allowance here. Seam allowance. I have the selvage. So I'm keeping aware of where the selvage is, but still making sure I have good for the seam allowance. This is where I start to get very frugal. You'll notice that I'm like down here in the end corner. And then I definitely have enough on this side. So I'm not going to be worried about trimming this exactly to a 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch. I'm just going to let that be because I know I'll have enough all around. I'm going to put that on there so the paper doesn't move. And then I'm just going to kind of rough chunk Windsor out. Because this is the last of Windsor to be used, so I'm not as concerned about it. But I do want to make sure I get all the way through. There we go. Last bit of Windsor. So again, this is definitely a healthier piece that we'll be whittling down as we put it on to piece 1 and then sew piece 3 to it. So piece 2 on top of piece 1, and that is it for Windsor. Then Glacier. Glacier is a very little piece, so I'm just going to line it up here in the corner. There's no selvage or anything on this piece down here. Selvage is on this side. So I'm going to fold it over and just cut that little triangle. That again will make that shape into Glacier as we go. So that's piece 3. That's it for Glacier. Jade green. I don't think jade green is on here either. Nope. So I will pull jade green down here into this corner. I can tell that the fabric is coming from the sew line out past, definitely for the seam allowance on both sides, and I'm got some even hanging off the edge here, so I'm good there. And I'm just going to cut past the seam allowance here for that triangle for jade green. And then 5 we already did earlier, so piece 5 is done. So again, I will take all of the pieces of fabric that are now in line from 5 to 1, flip it over so it's 1 to 5, and I will pin that to this section. We have one section of cutting left. So good. We're moving along really well. Everything's a little bit bigger on this section. That was the tiny pieces of sections. These are bigger and healthier, a little less scary to work with. So I need to find SG. Hi, Irish Sail Lady. Ooh, binding placemats, fun. Oh, quilted bread baskets. Marie asks, does the legit kit use the same brand of fabric basics? For example, Art Gallery. Yes, Del Marie, they use Kona fabrics. They use Kona fabrics because, for a couple of reasons. One, Kona solids have over 360 colors. There are a couple of like seasonal special ones, so they'll go from like 365 to 360 to 3, you know, so it's kind of a fluctuating number, but there is a core of like 360 solids that they will always have as their basics. So that's part of the reason why they've chosen Kona. Also, Kona has, okay, and I don't have the name of it, but Kona solids are certified. There's a European certification where they don't, from the beginning through the entire processing of Kona solids or Kona fabrics, there's no there's this grouping of chemicals that are used in the process for all the other companies. and Kona does not do that. So they are certified organic in that way. And I have it in my paperwork when I became an instructor, and I cannot remember what it's called. But that's another really big selling point for them, that no matter where your scraps end up, it's not going to like, there's no leaching into the well waters. There's no impacting anything of the environment. That these are very the dyes that they use. Everything is very, very safe. So that's pretty important to Legit Kits, and was something that I did not know before I became a certified instructor. So that was kind of neat to learn. I know Kona solids might not be everybody's favorite. People definitely have their favorites. I did the building blocks in Art Gallery Fabrics because I liked the bundle that I had, and I love Art Gallery Fabrics. But the reason why they kit them up is for those two major reasons. Oh, so this is actually the Martelli mat. It just happens to fit perfectly on the IKEA table that I have. So it's just the mat. I don't have the Martelli table itself. And not nosy. I mean, I'm using it and it's on display, so please feel free to ask. I don't remember how much it was. I bought it 2 years ago now. And I don't remember how much it is, but it's the really big one that I don't know. I'm not going to be able to show you. It's purple and yellow on the other side. And it's the biggest one that they sell. I love it. So when I'm not filming, the reason why it's upside down is because when I'm not filming, I'm on the other side of the table cutting larger pieces of fabric and everything. So the numbers are important for me over there. I break a lot of rules that some quilters have. I use my Martelli as my ruler for when I'm cutting. I've found that it is very true to other rulers that I have, so I'm comfortable using it as my measuring for when I'm cutting fabrics. But so that's why it's upside down. But it fits this table to perfection. And then I just have to slide some of my recording stuff, iPads to one side, and then I have the entirety of the back side of this table to use as my cutting. So I adore this mat very much, and should she ever give up the ghost, I would order another one. So yeah, that's the highest praise I can give it. I would order it again. I would spend the money. It was worth it to me, for sure. Oh, thank you, Jackie. Yes. Yes. Okay. Oh. Ecotex? Because, right, you don't pronounce the first vowel when there are two vowels together. Ooh, throwing it back to kindergarten. Ecotex certification. Pretty spiffy. Okay, so this is 3 and 4. I need the corn flour, which is 2, and then SG sea glass. Back again with sea glass. All right. So it is 4 pieces of fabric, but only 3 colors for this B1A, because Kentucky is in place 3 and in place 4. So that's how we'll get it cut up. We'll move the sticker to this side. Yeah, I definitely there are standards, I won't say rules, there are standards that you will hear quilters talk a lot about starching before you do all the things and pinning I have always been the kind of person that says, don't tell me what to do, and then I'll do it my way, even if my way may not be necessarily the safest or the most efficient, though generally my way is always working towards being doing things as quickly and easily and efficiently as I can so that I cannot have to do them more than I need to. So I have a lazy heart that way. But I get it done, so I guess that's all that matters. But yeah, I was the same in knitting. If there was a thing that you were supposed to do, I would find a way to do it a different way, just to be contrarian. It's plain and simple, just to be a contrarian. Probably because my grandmother is who taught me how to knit, and I was going to rebel against anything that my grandmother was telling me to do anyway. Never been one for respecting authority. Alright, that's piece one. Oh, see, things that are supposed to be. I don't know. What are you talking about? Wait, what? The half-inch line is the short. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's supposed to be the longest? I thought that inch line was supposed to be the longest. Nah, I don't believe in supposed to be's. I believe in what works for me. Hence that whole story about my grandma. If it's supposed to be some way, I'm going to do it a different way. Okay, so for corn flour, it's going to go all the way across. So I'm not paying too much attention to the fact that it goes from a half an inch to, an inch and a half up here. Whatever, that's all good. But I will... So I'm just going to cut this piece off and keep this section, and then I will end up using this section up here underneath the label and use it at a later time. But I'm just going to make the piece smaller to work with me. And there we go. So this is it for corn flour, and this is the amount that we have left over. So if there were any miscuts, I'll be able to remedy them, at least for a couple of the pieces, without any concern. Throw this over here with all the rest. Oh, lost my glasses. All right. So how did I have? Oh, I had it this way. Yep. All the way there. That's not going to be a good angle, so I'm going to move it. There's a good size chunk. Flip this way. Use it around this way so it's easier to cut. And amount of the corn flour left over. My collection continues to grow. I will soon be able to put a whole entire kit together of something without having to go further than my metal cabinet. Alright. Let's see. Okay, I could definitely get these two pieces out of this one. So again, I'm going to go ahead and trim this down so it's easier to handle. Now, if this were just me kind of doing this at my own pace, doing my own thing, I would be like, okay, well, I need to get this piece out of this piece and this piece out of this piece. Okay, good enough. That's 3 and 4, and just pin it like that whole piece and put it there. And then I would sew piece 3 on, trim it, and then use what I trimmed for piece 4, rather than, actually cutting 3 and 4 separately. But that's because I've been doing it for a little bit of time, and I feel comfortable doing it that way. So that's how I would do it normally. But what I'm going to do is suss out the best way to lay these two pieces out and cut them from there. So I know I need this for 3. So that's 3. And then for 4, I can do into the leftover area of 3. Flip this over. Put it up here. 1/2 inch away. Come on, there we go. There we go. And 4. And then put this with Kentucky. With Kentucky. And there we go. So again, it's stacked up 5 through 1, the way I cut it. Flip it over, 1 through 5. Like that. And pin them together, make sure I've got the skinny pieces. And there. So now all of our fabric in our 2 hours of time are cut and ready to be sewn for the block 1, for the month 1 rather. 4 blocks, first month, all ready to be sewn up all together, just like we would with any other of any FPP, any other legit kit. We would sew them. You don't have to, because we've got all the fabrics cut and everything, you don't have to sew them together in any order. You don't have to do 1A, A1, A2, B1, B2. You can just sew as you come to them, as they're stacked up, and then trim them, and then sew them all together, and you will have month 1 complete. This is a fun way to do it when when you're just cutting all of the fabric at one time and then you're sewing everything at one time. It's a really good assembly line, like we talked about, way. I'm gonna change cameras. There we go. It's a really great way to get yourself set up and to work through your blocks. If it's just me just hanging out, I'm watching, true crime videos or something, I will just cut the fabric for the section I'm working on and sew it together all at the same time and trim it all at the same time and then move to the next block and do that. That's when it's the no stress kind of way I'll do it, when it's just me. But in order to get things done faster and more efficiently, and when I'm on a time crunch or a schedule that I need to get it done, doing it this way does really make it a lot faster. Obviously, getting to spend time with you guys, answering questions, all that kind of stuff. Thanks, Jackie. You have a great day too. That adds a little bit to the time. If I'm watching a TV show, I will, laugh at things and stuff. That'll add some time. But 2 hours of fabric cutting and then to just whip through the sewing is not too bad. And it's always fun to do it with you guys. So I appreciate everybody being here today. This, Lori, is TL18, the Haruka, and I call him Arnie. He's this is the only fully mechanical, like quasi-industrial machine that I have. I also have a Juki Serger, and I have a Juki 2000 QVP, which I really like a lot. That was my first real, well, I started off on a Singer patchwork, which I still actually use upstairs, but I really do like the Juki line, so it makes me happy. Oh, you have them too! So, it's so nice, isn't it? I will be sewing along going, oh, this is really, really nice. I really enjoy this. So, yep, I do love the machine. Okay, so in a couple of minutes let's talk about what's coming up for this week, because we have quite the busy week. Tomorrow night kicks off our first night of the Cotton Cuts Mini Mystery Sew Along. It will be on Russ. He's here, and he is Quilt Meets World, and he's one of the moderators. Thank you very much to the moderators today. You guys are rock stars. But Stephanie of Stephanie Stitches and I will be on Russ's channel tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern to sew up Clue 1 of the Cotton Cuts Mini Mystery. The exciting part of that for me is the one I'm sewing live with Stephanie and with Russ is going to be the giveaway. I'm going to sew it up completely. I'm going to quilt it and finish bind it and all of that stuff. I'll put a label on it, which is another thing that I'm really bad at, but I will put a label on it. And I'm going to give away that table runner in Vlogmas if I can make it to 1,000 subscribers. So I'm hoping by Christmas Day, that'll be my Christmas present, and then I will make it to 1,000 subscribers, and then I'm going to give that runner away. I haven't figured out yet the how you'll enter into it. This is all kind of new to me. I haven't done a giveaway before yet, so I'm excited to have my first one, and it to be for something so exciting and big is pretty important to me. But yeah, I'm excited about that. So that's tomorrow night for the first night. Tuesday night is our final 2-color quilt challenge parade of our finished flimsies. A lot of folks have the whole quilt quilted and bound and gorgeous. You guys are so amazing. The artistry out there is just incredible. But we're gonna do the final parade of everybody's 2-color quilt challenge. Stephanie and I are gonna show ours. We haven't seen them, and so we're gonna show them for the first time. And then Wednesday is the Clue 2 of the Mini Mystery, which is here on my channel at 6 p.m. Wednesday evening. Thursday is Thanksgiving here in the States, so happy Thanksgiving. I hope everybody has a great time and has a lot of yummy food. Friday we'll be sewing Clue 3 of the Mini Mystery Sew Along of Cotton Cuts at 11 a.m. Eastern on Stephanie's channel. So spend Black Friday with us rather than spending it in trying to elbow people for whatever you need at Walmart. Spend it with us. And we'll be doing that Friday. Then Saturday morning, our friend Sean is at Brecky, 8 a.m. And I'm not sure who he's going to have on this Saturday, but 11 Z's is with Russ of Quilt Meets World, who you should be able to find if you do exclamation Russ, and so you'll join him for 11 Z's. And then Saturday 5 is Stephanie's on her channel live at 5, and Sunday back again here with me. In there will also be my podcast, my weekly podcast, but that's not live. So those were all the lives that we're going to have this week. All right. Well, so Nightbot is reminding us that it's been another hour, so that means my 2 hours is up. Thank you all so very much for being here. I appreciate your time today. I appreciate those that have been FPPing for humoring us and running it back. I appreciate anybody who has never done FPP before for spending your time with me and looking at how to work through Legit Kit Iris Block 1, or Month 1 of the Block of the Month. All right, everybody. Have an amazing Sunday, and I will see you all tomorrow night for Clue 1 of Cotton Mystery, Mini Mystery. All right, thanks everybody. Bye.